Hi, I'm Eric, the security guy. We recently discussed SPF and DKIM. Today, I'm completing the email authentication hat trick with DMARC. A lot of companies don't realize that their emails are ending up in the recipient spam folder because they haven't correctly configured SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. DMARC, which stands for Domain-Based Message Authentication, Reporting, and Conformance, is an email authentication policy and reporting protocol. It builds on the SPF and DKIM protocols by adding three important functions. First, it adds a linkage between the domain used at the mail protocol layer and the from address displayed to end users. SPF records and DKIM signatures consider the email addresses passed at the Simple Mail Transport Protocol, or SMTP layer. Therefore, it's possible for an email to pass SPF and DKIM checks, but display a different email address in the from line. DMARC closes that gap. In order for an email to pass a DMARC check, either SPF or DKIM checks must pass and be aligned with the from line in the header, which is what the email software displays to the end user. In other words, the from email address the user sees has to be authenticated. Second, DMARC allows the domain owner to publish a policy for handling email that fails authentication. For example, when initially deploying DMARC, a domain owner can request that emails failing a DMARC check still be passed on to end users. Or the policy can be set to quarantine, thereby requesting that emails purporting to be from the domain that failed DMARC checks are sent to a spam folder or quarantined. It's important to note that the DMARC policy is a request and is still up to the service provider receiving the email to determine how it wishes to handle it. Some major providers quarantine emails that fail SPF and DKIM checks regardless of the DMARC policy. Third, and perhaps most important, is the DMARC standard includes reporting from receivers to senders to improve and monitor the protection of the domain from fraudulent email. By including an email address in the DMARC record, domain owners can request that recipients provide reports on received emails. The DMARC standard includes both aggregate and detailed failure reports, but in practice, most major providers only support sending aggregate reports. However, these reports provide valuable insight into both fraudulent email and legitimate email that might be failing DMARC checks. For example, when implementing DMARC, it's not unusual to find that emails are being sent on behalf of the company by marketing, invoicing, and help desk services. By setting the initial DMARC policy to none and monitoring the aggregate reports, it's often possible to identify and remediate email delivery problems. Directly reading the XML messages is certainly not fun, but fortunately there are services available to receive, parse, and display DMARC reports. Some of the service providers also manage the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records on behalf of the domain owner, but at a price. mxtoolbox.com provides a really nice service, but prices currently start at about $130 US a month, which is hard to justify for small businesses. The most affordable service I have found, and the one I personally use, is urireports.com, which can be configured to receive and display DMARC aggregate reports for up to 5 domains at a cost of about $60 US per year. For more resources, please check out dmarc.org. Thanks for watching. Please help me out by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. As always, if you have any questions or like to suggest a topic for a future video, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. See you tomorrow.